very beautiful morning to you once again. Welcome. This is Perspectives Unlimited right here on Wales Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio. Perspectives Unlimited is that platform where we go beyond the news to help you make sense of some of the stories across our various national dailies in a bid to keep you abreast about happenings around Nigeria, because the conversation that concerns the growth of Nigeria as a nation is a business of you and I. So we must try as much as possible to be very much involved with whatever it is that concerns us as a nation. Good morning once again. My name is Toluwaleke Alli. And this morning, we're live on Facebook at Wales Radio 893 FM fan page. At Wales Radio 893 FM fan page. We're live on Facebook. And as we go on, you can drop your comments and we'll be sure to take them this morning. And also, we're live on YouTube at Wales Radio 89.3 FM. At Wales Radio 89.3 FM. And when it's time, we would also be opening the phone lines for you to put a call through to the studio to be a part of the show. So right about now, let's check out the front pages across some of our national dailies this morning. Front page of the Punch newspaper for this morning. Above the masthead, the federal government doubles January bond borrowing to 900 billion naira. That's on page 22. 5 soldiers, policemen killed in Zamfara ambush. And that story can be found on page 3 of the Punch newspaper this morning. States hosting IDPs $12 million World Bank loan, and that's on page 21. Nigeria's ECOWAS exports fall 13% after Sahel states exit. That's on page 2. The lead story on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. Alleged terror financing. Malami faces long detention as DSS intensifies investigation. And it has a rider, secret police signal tough stance, prepare court action to detain ex-AGF further as terror financing case unfolds. And the story is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Domestic refiners move to cut petrol imports. That's also on page 21. Nigerians spend 1.54 trillion naira on beer, others in 9 months. That's on page 22. Businesswoman Ashimogun kicks as EFCC seeks $13 million for feature. The story can be found on page 3 of the Punch newspaper. DSS frees Ogun pastor associates after public outcry. That story can be found on pages 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. EFCC quizzes Benue officials over alleged 4.6 billion naira fraud. And that particular story is on page 14 of the Punch newspaper for this morning. On the front page of the Guardian newspaper for this morning, PDP chair meets ex-VP Sambo, says ticket open to Jonathan, others. And the story is on page 2 of the Guardian newspaper. Federal government employers may clash over planned increase in employee compensation levy. And that's on page 5. Rivers Assembly shuns Pandef Peace Panel over Fubara's impeachment. The story is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper for this morning. Electoral Act, gaps in e-transmission, vote buying sanctions spark calls for reforms. And that's on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. On page 30, court orders INEC to publish ADC's list for FCT Council elections. Lagos to divert traffic as repairs resume on Lekki-Ekpe Expressway. And that's on page 7. Davos, Nigeria pitches fiscal discipline as EU leaders condemn Trump's new colonialism. That's on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper for this morning. Sanwo-Olu, Ezekwesili, Bika over Makoko demolition, alleged operation. That's also on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. FCT workers' strike continues as union faults government's compliance claim. That's on page 30. On page 29, presidency accuses IPOB of peddling Christian genocide propaganda. Trial of driver in deaths of Anthony Joshua's friends adjourned till February 25. And the story is on page 9 of the Guardian newspaper for this morning. On the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning, above the masthead, WEF 2026, Edo advances Nigeria's interest in Davos. And it as a writer says federal government will rely less on debt, focus on driving investment. The story is on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper for this morning. Diazani's trial in £100,000 bribery case begins in London to last 12 weeks. That's on page 26. The lead story on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Governor Yusuf's defection. Kano APC chiefs warn of forced marriage travails. And it has 3 riders. Tinubu set to meet Kwakwanso after session with Yusuf. Barral Ganduje's roles remain key issues. NNPP leader may get top government appointment. And the story is on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Constitution review. We will begin clause-by-clause consideration January 27. That's according to the Senate, and it has a rider. State police, special seats for women, top list. To read more on that story, check out page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Report reveals low awareness of Nigeria's 2025 tax law among business owners in states. And that's on page 5. PDP presidential ticket open to all Southerners, including Jonathan. That's according to Toluwaleke, and it has a rider. NWC visits Namadi Sambo, and it's on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. And the final story on page 4, court orders INEC to publish David Mark's ADC list for FCT area council election. And those are the stories on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper for this morning. And finally, on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper, Dizzani appears before UK court over alleged £100,000 bribe, and that's on page 4. 6 drown in Benue boat mishap. That story is on page 6 of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Abduction, Kaduna villagers recount ordeal. The story begins on the front page and continues on page 3 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Atiku wades in as supporters obedience clash over ADC ticket, and the story is on page 10 of the Daily Trust newspaper for this morning. 11 killed in Edo auto crash. That's on page 6. PDP court dismisses Ayanwo's suit after withdrawal. The story is on page 11. And the final story on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. Varsity student commits suicide after losing 600,000 naira to betting. And that story is on page 17 of the Daily Trust newspaper for this morning. All right, joining me on the show this morning is our analyst, Chukwemeka Munachi. So good morning, Chukwemeka.
Good morning, Tolu.
All right, good to have you on the show this morning. Do not forget you can watch us live on Facebook at Wales Radio 893 FM fan page. At Wales Radio 893 FM fan page. Let's begin with the lead story on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Alleged terror financing. Malami faces long detention as DSS intensifies investigation. Former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, SAN, might spend a longer time in the custody of the Department of State Services, the Punch has learned. Multiple security sources reported that Malami faces prolonged detention as the DSS is already working to obtain a court order to keep him in custody until the investigations are concluded. Malami's latest ordeal began on Monday when DSS operatives took him into custody shortly after he perfected his bail and was released from the Kuje Correctional Center in Abuja. His arrest came barely minutes after he stepped out of the facility where he had been detained since early December over allegations brought against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Security sources indicate that the DSS is seeking a court order to prolong his detention, citing the sensitive and complex nature of the investigations, which are expected to take months. The former AGF had initially been arrested by the EFCC following allegations that he conspired with his wife, Asabe, and their son to conceal proceeds of unlawful activities valued at about 8.7 billion naira. And according to the anti-graft agency, the alleged offences involved the use of multiple corporate entities, bank accounts, and high-valued real estate transactions in Abuja and other parts of the country. And the trial was arraigned on December 29, 2025, before a federal high court in Abuja on 16 counts bordering on money laundering and conspiracy, and they all pleaded not guilty to the charges. But just as it was granted bail, it was picked up by the DSS 12 days after he was granted bail, but now he has been picked up by the DSS just as he was leaving the correctional center premises. And it's looking like he's going to be there for a long time. One of the the most common events that usually happen when we see stories like this is that a lot of Nigerians have lost belief in the judgment system when it comes to, charges like this. But in this case, it is beyond just what is handling with the EFCC. There's also the alleged terror financing charges against him. Do you see that this could just, be like the regular, and then we're just going to, in a bit, not hear anything about it again?
And that is why many Nigerians, like you said, have lost interest in our judicial system, which is not what it ought to be. Judicial system helps the society to thrive, and restrain strong individuals from running foul of the law. But in our system here, there is nothing like that. And that's why people don't, this one is just for, Nigerians have read this thing severally, they see it and they wave it off. Have we heard anything again about the police call, the super police call, this Abakiyari and everything? We didn't hear anything about it again. Did we hear anything again about Hadi Sireka and the Nigerian airline, how they painted the Ethiopian airline in the name of... There are so many things that we come up to the national stage like this and they fizzle out because Nigeria has not been able to define its national ethos. I keep saying it because you cannot run a country with... Yes, we are country of many countries, but we must have something binding us together as a people that, look, no matter your religion, no matter your ethnicity, no matter what you worship and what you don't worship, this line, you must not cross it. This is what we hold as our national ethos. Do we have one? No. What we have is a constitution that every administration come up, they tinker with it because it's a way of spending money. When you hear of constitutional review, it's a jamboree. Go and check how much we have spent on constitutional review, and we keep reviewing. What are we reviewing? What are we reviewing? Every administration we come up, give constitutional review, spend money, people are gathered together, speak grammar, and at the end of the day, the constitution is not working for us. Because we are not transparent, we are not truthful. We have not decided to build a federal nation where everybody will be equally represented. We see running exclusive government at all levels. My people are here, other people cannot come on board. When we finish, let another group come. You don't run a country that way. Back to Malami issue. We know that this is the way it rolls. At the end of the day, we're not going to hear anything again. Terror financing is a very big crime. Money laundering is a very big crime. Now, is it, people are going to read a lot of meanings into this. Is it political witch hunt? Which I don't think it is. And it is to tell people that this world, whatever you sow, you will reap. There is still law of karma. When Malami was in the saddle, go and check all the things he did. The excesses. He didn't know that a day will come when you will leave office. Because there is always a day after. In everything we do in life, there is always a day after. Now his time has come. Let him enjoy whatever he's getting. But let it be transparently done, and let it be in the name of the country to safeguard the country. You understand? Let it not be a political witch hunt, but let it be that this man, what you said he did he do it? Take him to the law of, take him to justice, and let the people see that justice is done, because he himself was once there. What did he do? Look at his antecedents, so that those people, the people that are in power right now, should take a cue. But human beings don't learn. We don't learn. We only learn geography the morning after earthquake. What did he do when he was in the saddle? Look at what Malami did. Look at how he went after some people. Now he didn't know that when you are pointing your finger at people, other fingers are pointing back at you. So let's watch the drama and see where it ends. But I hope it is in the interest of the country and not for other personal issues involved. Terror financing is a very big... I read it somewhere that he discovered some things in his house and all the things. I'm not too sure about it.
But in addition to that, I mean, we all remember that in 2021, when Malami was the AGF, the United Arab Emirates named 6 Nigerians with ties to the insurgent group Boko Haram as terrorist financiers. And, at the time, a lot of people were craving, who are these people?
He didn't release
What have
it.
you didn't put it out.
He didn't.
Now, the individuals listed, according to the Punch newspaper, included Abdurrahman Ado Musa, Saliu Yusuf Adamu, Bashir Ali Yusuf, Muhammad Ibrahim Isa, Ibrahim Ali Al Hassan, and Suraj Abubakar Mohammed. Now, at that time, during his tenure as the AGF, he had repeatedly vowed that the government would not shield any individual linked to terrorism or financing at any point in time. In fact, he publicly maintained that no matter how high that person is, if the person is found culpable, then the person will be prosecuted.
It's a lie.
But these people were not even
mentioned.
Now, are we getting to that point where people who are terror financiers will now be picked and then justice will be served?
If we do that, that's the normal thing to do. But what we have failed to do in terms of curbing the excesses of terror financiers is a big testament to our planning failures. We don't plan. We do fire brigade things here in Nigeria repeatedly, and you don't run a country that way. You don't do that. Now, he was there. These people gave us the list. He sat on it. Now, he is being accused of the same thing. Who is telling Nigerians the truth? Are Nigerians ready to even understand the truth? Are we going to read so many meanings inside what the government is saying? Now, Malami should face his music. You understand? Let him dance alone. And is a big warning to those who are still there today. You can't be in power forever. A day is coming when you will leave. You don't know who will come. The things you are doing. That's why. But the reason why they behave the way they behave is that they don't believe that politics is a calling. It's not occupation. They see it as occupation. Oh, this is what I will do all through my life. No, it's a calling for you to serve. It's not an avenue for you to ride roughshod over the rest of the people in your pursuit of satanic wealth. No, a day is coming when you will leave the place, and what if your cupboard is opened and people begin to see all the skeletons? Let Malami face trial. Let everything they are bringing to him, let the world hear what he did and what he didn't do. But at the end of the day, let justice be served.
All right, justice be served. Well, in addition to that, there was armed cash that was allegedly found in his Kebbi home, which is also part of the reasons that he's currently being detained by the DSS. Now, let's move on to other stories. Yes. The Minister of Finance made a statement in Davos, where he is presently. And he said that the federal government is targeting less borrowing and more investments. That's according to Wale Edun. And the federal government has said it's planned to reduce its dependence on borrowing, invest more in the economy, and rely more on domestic resources. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, said this while speaking on television at the ongoing 56th World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, yesterday. The minister's remarks come against the backdrop of the federal government's efforts to implement fiscal reforms and strengthen the economy, emphasized the need to focus on revenue generation. He said that the country could access international bond markets if necessary. The government's priority was to mobilize its own resources. He outlined the government's efforts to raise tax revenue and strengthen fiscal sustainability amid mounting global economic pressures. The minister also noted that Nigeria remained open to international capital markets if needed, but said domestic reforms were central to the government's fiscal policy. Since taking office in 2023, President Bola Tinubu's administration has introduced several economic reforms to drive growth and stabilize public finances. Now, we're at that point again because it feels like it's every time that we have to go for international, summits that we always seem to have a better idea, a better solution to what we're facing in Nigeria. And it always seems like that is when we always put out different things. Now, this is not the first time that the minister is saying that, oh, we are going to borrow less, or we are going to invest more. We're going to borrow less. We're going to invest more. Isn't this now becoming like a regular poetry that we hear every time they're outside of the country?
Yeah, thank you for using that word, regular poetry. It's a pure poetry, you understand? When you talk of domestic resources, you will not borrow again. The president came up last year and told us that they have enough and there will be no borrowing. Shortly after that statement, they went on another jamboree of borrowing. Now, when you talk of the domestic resources, we want to rely on domestic resources to show up our physical stability. I don't know whether he's looking at taxing the poor. Because taxation, no country grows financially through taxation. You don't. First of all, if you want to grow the economy, you tackle this insecurity that is plaguing our country, that has driven some multinationals out of our shores. You must tackle insecurity first and foremost. That is where you have to start from. If you want the economy to grow, you don't grow in an economy where people are living with their two eyes open. They can't even sleep. You understand? And fiscal reform cannot happen if there is no visible mechanism to check wastages in governance. It can't happen. It is when you leak the wastages, then you will now tackle. When you tackle insecurity, you block or you create a mechanism where you can block all the wastages. Then you will know that yes, you are serious but whereby people in government are still living larger than life, and we are wasting a lot of money. And we keep on doing things that, look at, we keep on spending money unnecessarily. And you go outside and say, we will not borrow again. It's just for the people to feel that, oh, Nigeria is working, but is it really working inside the country? Tolu, I believe in look, Nigeria will grow economically. But there is one lacuna, there's one problem we have, which is insecurity. No country, Tolu, grows where there is sense of insecurity among the citizens. It can't happen. Even investors will not come because you must have to secure your place. Now, you saw on the social media, 20 communities in Sokoto State are leaving their communities because of a threat from Tuji Bello that he will invade, tax, and kill. They are leaving. The government came up to say, no, those ones are relocating. Is it because of climate change? Only for them to come out and say, yes, they are relocating because of a threat from a non-state actor. If there is something in Sokoto that somebody wants to go and invest, do you think the person will go to Sokoto State and invest his money there? When a non-state actor is threatening citizens and they are leaving, then how do you describe our security architecture? So when we talk of growth in the economy, there are so many things we need to put in place before any visible, meaningful, responsible growth in our economy. It can't grow. This issue of we are not borrowing again is a fallacy. We are still going to borrow because there is no way we can't borrow if we have not been able to solve our. You can't even. Have we diversified our economy? That's the thing. We have not diversified. The solid minerals we have in large quantum in this country are still in the hands of people who are not accountable to the country.
All right. This is Perspectives Unlimited on Wales Radio 89.3 FM.
89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio. Christ Ambassadors International College is a private, co-educational Christian day and boarding school located at Alafin Avenue, Oluyole Estate, Ibadan. We offer a blend of Nigerian and British curricula designed to nurture global leaders with godly values. With world-class facilities, exciting co-curricular programs, exceptional pastoral care, and outstanding academic results, we ensure your child's dream becomes a reality. Our entrance exam examination for 2026-2027 academic session will hold on Saturday, 14th February 2026 at 8 a.m. For inquiries, please call 0704 530 8414 or 0814 177 2806 or visit www.christambassadorscollege.com. Christ Ambassadors International College, nurturing global and godly scholars.
How long will it take you to confirm payment? I have been waiting for the past 1 hour. I'm so sorry. Our network is slow. I will just run out of data. Same excuse yesterday. It is unacceptable, please. You better switch to One Data Internet Service. One Data? Yes, One Data. One Data is an internet service provider with the best alternative and solution for unlimited speed. One Data provides fast and reliable internet service to organizations, homes, and places of interest in Nigeria. With One Data, you get to enjoy the premium internet service with dedicated unlimited internet speed at all times, 24/7 fantastic customer service and support, and you enjoy a 1-month free subscription when you make payment. Now is the time to say goodbye to downtimes. Sign up with One Data today on 0811 223 2671 or visit www.onedata.ng for more inquiries. One Data, unlimited speed.
Are you hungry for something delicious? Food that feels like home but tastes like pure luxury? Then welcome to Honeydew Restaurant, where every meal is made to make you smile. From our smoky jollof to rich ofada sauce to a variety of delicious soups like egusi, eforiro, and more, paired with your favorite proteins and hot, freshly made swallows, all made for you to enjoy. We also handle bulk orders in liters, fresh and ready whenever you need it. We deliver it to your doorstep. At Honeydew, it's not just the food, it's the feel. With our beautiful ambience, perfect for your romantic dates, family outings, or your quiet, relaxing evening escape. Join us every last Friday of the month at 7 p.m. for karaoke night with Jayola and enjoy music, games, food, drinks, and free mocktails and cocktails as you sing your hearts out. Visit us at Plot 42, Block 8, Alaafi Avenue, beside Wells Radio, Oluyole Estate, Ibadan. For your doorstep delivery or inquiries, call or WhatsApp 0814-691-6635, 0814-691-6635. Honeydew Restaurant, where every meal is made to make you smile.
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The general public is hereby advised to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Verify the licensing status of such schemes on this website: www.cbn.gov.ng, www.nicom.gov.ng, www.pencom.gov.ng, www.sec.gov.ng, www.fsrcc.gov.ng. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call CBN 0817-665-7060, 0707-338-4828, SEC 0209-462-1168. Announcer, FSRCC.
89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio.
All right, welcome back. This is Perspectives Unlimited on Wales Radio 89.3 FM. The phone lines to call to be a part of the show are 0916 893 1000, 0916 893 1000, or 0915 333 4893, 0915 333 4893. You can also call 0911 3333 893, 0911 3333 893. Drop your comments on Facebook at Wales Radio 893 FM fan page, at Wales Radio 893 FM fan page, and we'll be sure to take your comments this morning. We'll move on to the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Police make U-turn, confirm abduction of Christian worshippers in Kaduna. The Nigerian Police Force has confirmed the abduction of over 100 Christian worshippers in Kumenwali, a remote community in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State, reversing earlier remarks that had cast doubt on the incident. In a press statement issued on Tuesday by the Force PRO CSP Benjamin Hudayi, the police said it was aware of the deep concern generated by reports of an abduction incident in Kumenwali and acknowledged the fear such reports had caused the residents and the wider public. The statement explained that initial uncertainty followed a meeting with the Kaduna State Security Council convened by the governor Obasani, where some individuals from the affected local government area disputed the report, which had earlier been confirmed by the police, and described it as false. According to the false comments made earlier by the Commissioner of Police, Kaduna State Command were misunderstood. It said that in these remarks the remarks were not a denial of the incident, but a measured response pending confirmation of details from the field, including identities and number of those affected. Now, the numbers of those affected have actually been released. Analysis of, we're looking at 177 victims here. The analysis in the Vanguard newspaper. Families such as a particular family had 12 members of that family kidnapped. Another family had 13. Another had 10. There were families who have 7 people each kidnapped. There are people who have 6. Some have 5 family members. Some have 4, some have 3, some have 2. The oldest of the victims is 71-year-old, and the youngest is a 6-year-old child. Now, this is coming barely a week after the same community paid 2.6 million naira as ransom to secure the release of 20 residents previously abducted. This is according to intelligence gathered by the Vanguard newspaper.
You see, Tolu, initially, they were all kidnapped in a church during early morning service.
Yes.
They went for early morning service in their own country. And they were there, people came and kidnapped them. When the news got to Kaduna State Police Commissioner Muhammad Rabiu, he dismissed it and said it was not true. Only for him later to come back and acknowledge that the incident took place.
It was the CSP.
I'm coming. He denied it. Now, the narrative in the paper right now is that, he initially didn't. It's a lie. He denied it. In a country where we know what we are doing, do you think that man should still not be subjected to questioning? Now, these people initially they succeeded. The community raised money. They sold their livestock, sold so many things to raise money for their people. Now, kidnapping is already a shadow economy in our country, and we have a lot of stakeholders. How do you think these people now, if you see, I believe that deterrence, the reason why things go on with impunity in our country is because there are no consequences. And deterrence, must be through demonstration of kinetic ability of the state. When the state has not been able to use its own kinetic ability to deal decisively with non-state actors who are doing all these things, there is always a continuity. The Kajuru local government is a community of particular concern. as far as I'm concerned, because a lot has been going on in that place. And I remember so many associations in that Kajuru local government, they came up last year, they cried out, they said so many things, yet the state did not look at them. And we are talking of another people again in the Sokoto community, Tidibale local council in Sokoto, leaving their ancestral homes in droves because a non-state actor, Bello Tuji, has threatened to invade them. What does that tell you, Tolu? Failure of the state. Now, go to Katsina State. A governor is mulling the idea of releasing 70 people already convicted.
And in the same Katsina, bandits resumed attack. They killed 2 people and abducted several others.
I'm coming, Tolu. The Northwest has given chieftaincy title. They have paid stipend. They have given their so-called pardons to non-repentant bandits. What have they gained from all these useless steps they have taken? Nothing. If Nigeria has a national ethos, which we all adhere to, do you think a governor will wake up and be thinking of releasing people that have stood before the court of law? You are talking of releasing them. Nearby state, Kaduna, they are running amok, kidnapping almost 170 something people. What a country. No. And somebody said he want to come and help us. We are sovereign. Our sovereignty, what have you done with it? When citizens are leaving their central home to another place because the state cannot protect them, where is that sovereignty? Where does it lie? That's why I keep saying, Tolu, look, Nigeria is a beautiful space. Beautiful country. If we have ever gone to other African countries, but look at the caliber, we are at the lowest threshold of leadership recruitment. People that we have nothing to do with leadership are put in a position of leadership. What do you think? They can't even give because they don't have it. You don't give what you don't have. A thorough, if in Singapore, I read something about them. Somebody wanted to contest, and you know what the thing they brought out? Even how he obeyed traffic rule. Could you imagine that? Did he obey traffic rule? Did he do this? Did he do that? They check a lot of things about the person. But here in Nigeria, once you have money, once you have the connection, once you have the so-called structure, that structure you hear about euphemism for corruption, you are free to go. That's why somebody was telling us sometime last year that even if you are Boko Haram and you repent, you can become the head of state of this, you can become the president. There's no portfolio you can't occupy in this country. It's not done anywhere. I love Nigeria. I love this country, and this country must work in our lifetime. And we cannot make it work with this kind of the way we select people who are leaders, without asking questions, without demanding accountability, without the rule of law. It can't work. Look at what is happening in Kaduna, Kajuru. Go and read the history of that Kajuru and see what has been happening in that environment. And yet, the state has not been able to solve the problem. Only for us to live in denial. Oh, it didn't happen. Oh, it happened. Oh, the journalist did not quote me well. What should a state do? They are demanding for 17 motorcycles that the community must buy for them. That motorcycle is for them to continue in their destiny. Whereby Awolowo warned many years ago, may God bless his memory, that look, the children you refuse to take care of today, by introducing them to education, will wake up tomorrow to trouble you. And that is what the Northwest is reaping. When you downplay the role of education in a society, you are breeding criminals. When you downplay the role of vocational studies, people getting skill. Now, how do you think young men who get money in millions will stop that business? They can't stop it. They get money in millions. Do they get salary? This one we are talking of inflation taking away our. It doesn't even affect them because their money. They are not waiting for the end of the month to get salary like you and I. They will just go and steal a human being. Then demand for millions, and millions will come. A luta continua. They will keep on doing it. Is that how to run a country? That is not how to run a country.
The question a lot of Nigerians raise is the fact that where was the government when the people of that community had to raise 2.6 million?
They are waiting for 2027. They are waiting for re-election. It's about re-election. It's not about the people. It's about re-election.
Let's talk to this person. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, West Radio.
Good morning, sir.
My name is Salami. I'm calling from Awoton. Good morning, Mr. Chukwemeka.
Good morning, Mr. Salami.
Oh, my brother, well done, sir. God bless you. Thank you very much for your analysis. You see, for me, let me begin with the ordeals of Malami. And the big lesson here is that the fall of a yellow leaf is and should be a lesson to the green one. Who could have believed that Malami of this world will now be standing behind bar or will now be spending days in detention? Common DSS, according to him. That's life for all of us to see. And I wish those that are in power today will learn from it. That's number one. Number two, quickly, is that our leaders, I don't know why, when they go out, they tell the global leaders, what they want to hear about Nigeria's economy. I don't know what Wale Adun is talking about when he said Nigeria will now use more of internal resources or as you caption it. I don't know what he means by that. Is there another round of taxation after this, or maybe they are investing more in refineries, in annexing our potentials economically? I don't know. But there, for me, it is like I would rather wish that the present administration, especially, lives by its words and move the country forward. What we are doing presently is not the way a country is run. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Salami. 0916-893-1000, 0916-893-1000, or 0915-333-4893, 0915-333-4893. You can also call 0911-3333-893, 0911-3333-893. You can drop your comments on Facebook at Wales Radio 893 FM fan page. At Wales Radio 893 FM fan page. Drop your comments and we'll be sure to take your comments on the show this morning. This is Perspectives Unlimited on Wales Radio 89.3 FM. In a rather unfortunate one again, 5 soldiers, policemen killed in Zamfara ambush. 5 soldiers and a police officer were reportedly killed on Monday when suspected bandits ambushed security personnel near the Kekun village in the Bugundu local government area of Zamfara state. The security officer, speaking on condition of anonymity, stated that the victims were intercepted while traveling to Gusau following a field operation. He said the bandits who were hiding along the road immediately opened fire when a team of security personnel were passing along the road. And this led to the killing of 5 soldiers and a police officer instantly, while others sustained serious injuries and were taken to Yarima Bakura Specialist Hospital for treatment. Now, this is really sad, looking at the fact that there are security personnel who are trying their best, going out, coming, just to ensure that at least they repel these bandits. But unfortunately, this is one of the, sad stories that we hear. 6 families rather, thrown into mourning, just like that.
And the governor will be in another state, planning to release as a bandit. No, you see, I don't know how our leaders think. I don't know. With all these stories we are reading, do you know that these stories are very depressing? It depresses every human being. Because if you think it's not okay.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning, the beautiful radio woman.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you. This is Benga Mario calling from Apata.
Welcome to the show, Mr. Benga Mario.
Thank you. You see, on the issue of this insecurity, we keep on repeating the same thing, the same day, every day, every week, every month. Though we are praying that God will forbid, but when we are not doing what we're supposed to do. Yesterday, I was telling us on the program, I said, let Mr. President forget about 2027 for now. Let him focus absolutely on the security of lives and property of Nigerians. especially in some of those volatile states. His work will speak for him come 2027. It is we Nigerians that will come on board and say that the president has been able to save us from ravaging insecurity in the country. Now, let me give you this thing. It was not last year that the US gave us a report of some financiers of those bandits in the country. When the list was released to us, we were jumping and jubilating. Thank God those names will be read out and that there will be an end to this evil menace. But as we speak now, how many names have you had that have been read out? How many people have you had that have been prosecuted? None. So that is the reason why this thing will continue to be coming up every now and then. So we are praying for a stoppage of it. Look at the issue of Malami now. Malami was, you can see Malami when they ransacked his house, you can discover that they said they found guns, many that are not into a high number. I don't want to mention a particular figure. And now, what is Malami doing with rifles in his house? You are just an ordinary AGF. And now I think, if you can recall, Malami was among those that said, when he was AGF, he was the one that removed Magu, Ibrahim Magu, the former EFCC chairman. He was the one that removed him. Because of what? It has something to do with this financial misappropriation, and we are hearing that is a kind of banditry something that is also aligned in that issue. So the government have to nip this thing in the bud. They have to work and ensure that those perpetrators of people they are apprehended and prosecuted. If that is not done, I'm telling you, we'll be singing the same song every now and then. So we are using this medium to cry on to our governors, and the president, to ensure that state police also come on board. We need state police in Nigeria as of now. And Trump has been coming to help us. But when last did we have Trump coming out to invade us in this country? If we can't do it by ourselves, nobody will come and help us. So thank you very much, and God bless Nigeria.
All right, thank you, Mr. Agwinga Mario.
You see, Tolu, the government really has to wake up. You know, they have to be very decisive. You don't treat this kind of people with kid gloves. You don't. And the reason why this is a sense of entitlement, some people in this country feel that they're entitled to anything, even without working. They're entitled to pardon, even when they commit heinous crimes. They're entitled to stipend, even when they murder human beings. They're entitled to chieftaincy, even when they are renegades. But other sections of the country will not. Do you know that in one of our programs here, a man called and said he spent 8 years in Krikri because they saw him with a cartridge, this hunting cartridge. 8 years of his life. Now people are coming from the bush because of sense of entitlement. You give them chieftaincy title, you give them stipend, you say they have repented, you want to integrate them, you want to release 70 people that are already stood before the court of law. Sense of entitlement. Unless that sense of entitlement is destroyed, Nigeria will continue having this kind of problem we are having. Because some people believe that their own is special. They treat them specially. Kid gloves. If they do this, no. If another person does it from another area, it's a problem. Why are we living like that? And we say we are one country. It can't continue to be that way. If we want to build a country, we build a country where everybody is equal under the flag. That's the way that a country will move forward. But the moment we start doing this is we are doing, look at 5 soldiers wasted. When you catch those people now, somebody will come and say, oh no, imagine non-state actors coming with all the instruments of destruction on themselves, and our security of as we saw it last year, taking selfies with them. Where does it happen? Can it happen in the southwest? Can it happen? It can't happen. You will go in for it. Can it happen in the southeast? It can't happen. Just make a noise. You are labeled IPOP already to be killed. But look at what is happening. Is that how to run a country? That's the question. If we want to run a country, you run a country where there is egalitarianism. Everybody is equal under the law. Then those who run foul of the law will be treated, and they will serve as a lesson for others because there are no consequences. That's why we have all this all over the place. And somebody will be mulling the idea, let's integrate them. Somebody will be going from bush to bush and be discussing with non-state actors, and the government cannot apprehend him. What a country.
All right, on Facebook, Okbelua Anthony says, good morning to you. Suleiman Sharif says, good morning and kudos to everyone in the studio. I will urge DSS to do a thorough investigation about Malami. According to sources, I learned Malami is being grilled over his handling of the list of Nigerian terror financiers released by the United Arab Emirates. Every individual found culpable should be dealt with the same way victims have suffered. No sacred cows, please. If federal government failed to fight terrorists, terrorists will kill Nigeria. All right, thank you so much for coming
Thank you for
on the
having
show.
me, Tolu. God save Nigeria.
Thank you so much to everyone who has been a part of the show today. As I would always say, whatever it is that you find yourself, always ensure that you put Nigeria out there in good light. God bless you. God bless Nigeria. I am Toluwaleke Alli.